Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Daily Debate. My name is Ahmed Nader, and tonight we're going to focus on the celebrations by the Egyptians, and more specifically the Egyptian Christians, by the occasion of Easter and the day of resurrection being celebrated here in the country. And I'm honored to be having with me over the program for tonight Dr. Freddy Elbaiady, the member of the Egyptian Parliament and the Vice President of the Egyptian Social Democratic Party. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate, and the Happy Easter, of course.
Thank you. Happy Easter to all the viewers in Egypt and all over the world. This year, the Easter in the East and the West come in the same day. So I'll say Happy Easter to everybody in the whole world.
Yes, thank you very much. We'll be starting straight away with the main top stories that took place for today, concerning even the congratulations sent by His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the First Lady Mrs. Intisar al-Sisi regarding the Egyptians celebrating Easter and the day of resurrection. But the first top story come from President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's meeting with the Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli and the other concerned ministers on the government's efforts for boosting the business atmosphere and attracting more investments into Egypt. The meeting touched on the burden procedures which investors endure and the plans proposed for alleviating such burdens, such as specifying the single collection authority and launching the platform for the economic entities. President al-Sisi instructed replacing the fees paid for different authorities with a unified additional tax from the net profit, asserting the necessity of creating a more competitive investment atmosphere through which the investors can enjoy simpler measures and lesser financial burdens. The meeting also reviewed the state's efforts for shortening the time of customs release from 8 to 6 days, with ensuring a continued work of customs services at the weekend and the official holidays, while allowing the payment of fees at the banks after the end of the working hours. The meeting further tackled the axis of the new program for reducing the burden of exports, aiming to boost the national industries and increase the investments to different global markets in line with the Egyptian Vision 2030. The head of state was also briefed on the efforts exerted by the Egyptian Sovereign Fund to optimize the revenue from the state-owned assets through building wider partnerships with the private sector. To that end, President al-Sisi stressed the necessity of granting the private sector a pivotal role in pushing forward the national economy, increasing the exports, boosting local investments in the production and the export fields, and providing the required services to the exporters. And to be shedding more light on the topic of today, celebrating Easter and the day of resurrection, the upcoming top stories will be related to the same topic, as President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi offered his sincere greetings to the Egyptian Copts marking Easter. Through the social media account, President al-Sisi prayed to God to preserve Egypt and its people and to maintain the homeland as a beacon for peaceful coexistence and tolerance. The President wished many good, blessed and joyous returns of the occasion to all the Coptic families. Meanwhile, the Egyptian First Lady Mrs. Intisar al-Sisi greeted the Egyptian Copts on Easter. Through the social media account, the First Lady prayed to God to maintain love, health and happiness to all the Egyptians and wished good returns to the occasion to the Egyptian Coptic sons. And finally, the Pope of Alexandria and the Patriarch of St. Mark's Cathedral, Tawadros II, said he was grateful over a greeting that he received from President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi marking Easter. In exclusive remarks to the Egyptian television, he asserted that the Egyptians are living in unity and peace in a world marred by conflicts. The Pope reiterated his backing to President al-Sisi's rejection of any attempts to evacuate the Palestinians from the land. His Holy See pointed out that he agreed with Al-Azhar Grand Imam Sheikh Ahmad al-Tayyib on condemning the continued Israeli aggression on Palestinians, being a precedent in the history of wars and conflicts. In his cable, President Assisi extended his greetings to the pontiff and all the Egyptian Copts marking Easter. The head of state expressed his happiness to greet the Pope and the Egyptian Copts and wished them happy returns of the occasion, being a chance to hail the unique bond among all the Egyptians. The President also prayed to God to bless Egypt and its great people with prosperity, peace and welfare. On Saturday night, Pope Theodoros led the Easter Mass at Elbaiady Cathedral. In a sermon at the prayer, he prayed to God to preserve Egypt and to boost its unity against all conflicts. He also wished an end to all wars everywhere. Attending the Mass were a number of ministers, senior statesmen, clergymen and a galaxy of public figures. Dr. Freddy, first of all, how did he see the greetings sent by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and First Lady Mrs. Intisar al-Sisi on their social media accounts to the Egyptians in general and to the Christian Egyptians in specific regarding the Day of Resurrection and the Easter?
Well, this is actually part of the President establishing that he is present to all Egyptians.
Yes.
So he is sending his greetings to the Christians the same way he sends his greetings to the Muslims in the Islamic occasions. And this actually has to be a rule for citizenship, that the President and the government will deal with all citizens with the same way. We all share the same holidays, the same joyful events. So Christians congratulate Muslims and Muslims congratulate Christians, and the President does the same thing when he greets the Egyptian Christians at their Easter holiday.
Yes, on the other hand, how did you see Pope Theodoros II saying that he was grateful over the greeting that he received from His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi ahead of the Mass that took place on Saturday?
Yeah, of course, it's a natural reaction when the President greets the Pope and the Christians. The Pope feels grateful for this, and he expresses his being grateful and thankful to the President. And I believe this is a tradition that's happening every year, and it's good to continue it and keep these good feelings and also translate it into actual citizenship between all the Egyptian citizens.
Yes, and we have seen also the statements made by Pope Theodoros II stating that there is a special relationship between the church in Egypt and Al-Azhar Grand Imam Sheikh Ahmad Al-Taib, of course, condemning the events taking place and the atrocities taking place in Palestine, but they were sharing the same condemnation. They have the same side to be standing upon, and they are defending the same homeland. How do you see the relationship, the special relationship between the church and Al-Azhar?
This is true. They're both very important institutions in Egypt and in the whole world. And the Grand Imam and the Pope are important symbols representing each religious institution. And their reaction toward what's happening in Palestine, it's a human reaction. Regardless of the religious faith of any person, any human would feel the same thing. If he's religious or non-religious at all, he will feel that he have sympathy towards those who are against injustice or against continuous attack and war, and they should call for justice from all the countries that has the power to implement justice in Palestine.
And how did you see the sermon by Pope Theodoros during the celebration and the Mass of Easter that took place at Saturday night regarding the unity of Egypt and praying to God to be preserving Egypt and its people?
Yeah, this is actually a very good Egyptian sermon calling for the goodness of the country and for the peace in the country and the whole region. And this actually is not only in the Easter, but in every prayer in the churches. We pray for our safety of our country and for the peace and prosperity of the country and wisdom for the rulers of the country, because when this happens, actually everybody in the country enjoys the blessings and the fruits of this.
Yes, Doctor, allow me to be going to the first report of the daily debate for tonight, focusing on the Easter here in Egypt and the Egyptians celebrating, and the Egyptian Christians in specific celebrating Easter after a 55-day fast. We'll be having more details in the upcoming reports, so stay tuned.
Egypt's Coptic Orthodox Christians flock to churches on their Holy Saturday to celebrate the resurrection of Christ. The Copts in Egypt are one of the oldest Christian communities in the world. They attended the Holy Saturday Mass. Faithful expressed their happiness at being able to mark the beginning of Easter. This year, Christians worldwide celebrate Easter on the 20th of April, an occurrence that takes place only once every year or 5 years. Usually, Eastern and Western churches mark the resurrection of Jesus on different days due to differences between the Coptic and Gregorian calendars. Both Pope Tawadros II, the Pope of Alexandria, and Pope Francis, the Pope of Vatican, are in agreement on the unification of an Eastern date. Unifying the Eastern date has a spiritual benefit, enabling Christians across the world to celebrate simultaneously. In many families, there are both Orthodox and Catholic Christians, and the varying dates for Easter often lead to differing family celebrations. The holiday comes at the end of a 55-day fast, during which Coptic Orthodox believers consume no meat, fish, or dairy products. This year, the fast partially overlapped with the holy month of Ramadan, the month-long period during which Muslims fast from dusk to dawn.
Welcome back. You're still watching the daily debate, and I'm honored to be having with me over the program for tonight Dr. Freddy Elbaiady, the member of the Egyptian Parliament and the Vice President of the Egyptian Social Democratic Party. Thank you very much once again for being with us tonight. Of course, we are celebrating Easter in the country over those few days. What is the spiritual significance, in your opinion, of celebrating Easter in Egypt?
Well, Easter, of course, has a very great significance in the Christian faith. It is they call it the great festival or the great celebration, because in this day we celebrate that Jesus Christ was crucified on the cross and he was resurrected on the third day from death. And this is a symbol for salvation, for great love, that's supernatural love, that someone is willing to give his life as the incarnated God for salvation of the whole world. And also it shows what happened during the crucifixion time, that the forgiveness that Jesus Christ was offering to those who crucified him. It's a great teaching and a great message, and this is the core of the Christian faith.
Yes, Doctor, you mentioned the importance of forgiveness, especially nowadays. How important is forgiveness for the future generations to be learning about and to be knowing more about and to be treating each other with?
Forgiveness is something that actually very important for the person who forgives and the person who is forgiven. Because when you forgive to someone, actually you get rid of a burden that might be actually causing a problem for you. And when Jesus Christ on the cross, he actually forgave those who crucified him. And he was praying, God forgive them. And he didn't only just say forgive them, but he also gave a reason why to forgive them. He said, forgive them because they don't know what they are doing. He actually acted like a lawyer trying to defend those who are killing him.
Yes.
It's actually beyond imagination that someone goes not only just saying I'm forgiving you, but he was actually trying to defend them and give them an excuse or a reason why they are doing so. So it was a real forgiveness.
One important teaching that we could be learning as well as a society in Egypt is the importance of fasting, because we just got out of the holy fasting month of Ramadan. The Christians as well, they had 55 days of fasting that ended at midnight yesterday or today at the beginning of the day. What is the importance of fasting in teaching morals for the Egyptian society nowadays?
Fasting has an important moral and teaching, a spiritual meaning. It's not only about fasting from food, but it's more, it should go more spiritual, and it should be actually focused on fasting from doing bad things, fasting for all habits that might be actually interfering with someone's spiritual life, and trying to have more time for worship and more time for prayer. So this is actually the spiritual meaning of fasting. Of course, food is a training that you are a symbol that you are abstaining from the delicious food or for the meat or full fasting, whether like Muslims do in Ramadan, they fast completely. But this is just a symbol for what should be actually more beyond this, is a spiritual meaning of fasting.
Of course, Doctor, you have celebrated Easter here in Egypt, and you know how the traditions are in Egypt and outside of Egypt. I'm pretty sure that you have attended the Easter away from Egypt. What is the difference of celebrating the traditional and the religious occasions in the country, here in Egypt? Like Muslims have a difference of Ramadan within Egypt and outside of it. What's the difference of the culture now?
Well, the Egyptian church actually has a very long history and root in Egypt. It goes far from the starting of the 44th or 42nd year after Christ, when Christianity started in Egypt by Saint Mark. And all the liturgy that the church is practicing now, the Coptic church is practicing, it's taken from this history. So it is different from the Western actually liturgy and the way of worship. Of course, the main theology or the idea of Easter is the same, but the practice and the way of worship is different because of the Egyptian history in the church that goes far more than 2,000 years ago, and this is the history of Christianity in Egypt.
And the fact that the Holy Family was here and passed through Egypt, that is historical in itself.
That's true. Yeah, all this history is great, and the whole world actually focus on this. And we, from your program, actually, we invite people to come and tour Egypt, the land where Jesus Christ was here, and the Holy Family visited many places in Egypt. They might walk in the streets where the Holy Family was walking in the same
even
streets.
Elbaiady or so.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Many spots actually in Egypt that needs actually to have more focus on the tourism, this kind of religious tourism. And as I said, the history of Christianity in Egypt is very strong. It's, since the 7th century, there was predominant Christianity in Egypt, and Egypt had a very strong history in keeping the Christian faith.
Yes, Doctor, as a member of the Egyptian Parliament, that is a very important point and a very important topic regarding tourism and the path of the Holy Family here in Egypt, because it goes to several places within the country, from Cairo, I think, to Sinai. It's a very long way that could be marketed along the world, that people could be coming and seeing the path of the Holy Family, that Jesus Christ was here, the Mother Mary was here as well. How do you see the importance of this project, touristic project, and the ways of marketing nowadays so far?
Yeah, actually, it's very important to elaborate and to care about this project. And I've been actually in touch with some groups and tourist companies who are interested in improving and marketing this kind of tourism. It needs a lot of cooperation from the government side, from the company side, from the marketing and the tourist companies. And I hope that in the coming near future...
Does it need more investments? Does it need more money?
It needs more investment and needs more actually care from the government about these points, and some points actually needs to be renewed and more modernized, and so it's collaborative efforts that has to be taken, and I hope that in the near future we can benefit from this kind of investment and tourism that Egypt deserves.
Of course, Doctor, leading to Easter and celebrating Easter and the day of resurrection, there was the week of pain, the Holy Week, as we did see, and we as mark here in the country. What is the importance of celebrating and observing the whole week before Easter?
Yeah, well, the whole week starts from the Sunday, we call it the Palm Sunday, which commemorates the day when Jesus entered Jerusalem, and the people were cheering for him and saying in the Latin word Hosanna, which means save us. They were throwing the palm trees leaves in front of him and welcoming him and say Hosanna. Or save us, when the meaning of the word.
Yes.
And then it comes then to the Thursday, which we call it the Covenant Thursday, where Jesus had the Last Supper meal with his disciples. And then Friday is the day when Jesus was crucified. And Saturday night is the Easter night. And Sunday morning is the Easter, when Jesus was resurrected from death. So through the whole week, we remember the teachings, the last teachings and the last sayings of Jesus Christ, and we try to learn from it and get inspirations from his teachings every year when we remember these days that Jesus passed from the Palm Sunday till the Resurrection Day.
Doctor, you mentioned a very significant point, which is that the Egyptians as a community, the Christian Egyptians, they have an identity, they have a certain culture, and it could be reflected in the celebrations that we can see nowadays in the Day of Resurrection, of the whole past week of Easter as well. What does the identity that we have here as Egyptians celebrate and reflect what we have, as you mentioned, over thousands of years of religious Christianity here, celebrations?
The liturgy and the way of worship in the church, it goes back, as I said, from the 4th century or the 42nd year after Christ's birth, or St. Mark started to preach Christianity in Egypt. So many of these teachings and the way the church is celebrating has been going through these thousands of years. That gives it this special identity.
Yes.
So this is a historical way of liturgy. And also the social way actually is different here in Egypt, when we see that everybody is sharing the joy of everybody. When we see that during the Christian feast, Muslims are coming and celebrating the Easter and the Christmas with Christians.
Yes.
In the same way, in the Islamic feast, Christians are celebrating, because we, as Egyptians, we share joy together. We share the joyful moments together. And of course, when Christmas was decided as an official holiday, the 7th of January, everybody was taking a holiday and enjoying. And we hope that Easter can be also an official holiday in the coming future, that everybody will share it as a holiday, because all the feasts, the major feasts are holidays for all Egyptians. So if Easter was decided to be an official holiday too, it would be a great time that everybody will celebrate it as, because it's a day for all Egyptians, regardless of your beliefs, your different beliefs, but we are happy for each other's happiness. I'm congratulating my Egyptian friend because he is happy with his celebration. This doesn't have to be that I believe in the same beliefs, but I believe that he's an Egyptian, he has equal rights, and I'm happy because he's happy.
Especially that Easter has roots.
That's true.
Related to the ancient Egyptians.
That's true. Yeah, that comes to the Easter Monday.
Yes.
Shem Nisim. And Shem Nisim is, as you said, is a pharaonic day. It was in the old Egyptian language called Shemu.
Yes.
Shemu is the day, the harvest day. And it was actually more than before Christ was born, and it was celebrating the time of recession of the Nile and the starting of the harvest. And during the 4th century, they actually moved it from being on, it was used to be during March time,
yes,
to move it after Easter, because Christians were fasting, so they couldn't celebrate the spring or the harvest day. So at that time, they moved it specially so that Christians can celebrate the harvest day. So they decided to be the following day after Easter.
Yes, Doctor, allow me to be going to the other report of the daily debate for tonight, the Easter 2025 being celebrated here in Egypt. We will be having more details regarding the traditions, the celebrations, and the significance in the upcoming reports, so stay tuned.
Easter is one of the most important holidays in the Christian calendar, and regarding the Coptic Orthodox Church, Easter holds a specific weight. In 2025, Christians celebrate Coptic Orthodox Easter with grandeur, rich traditions, and deep spiritual significance. Coptic Orthodox Easter marks the resurrection of Jesus Christ, a significant phenomenon of Christianity. While the Christian world uses the Gregorian calendar, Western Christian denominations apply to Coptic Orthodox churches as an older Julian calendar dating method. For Coptic Christians, Easter signifies the victory of life over death, life over darkness, and hope over despair. This period of reflection, fasting, and spiritual exploration culminates in the joyful celebrations of the resurrection. Coptic Easter finds its root in the earliest days of Christianity. The term Coptic describes the Egyptian Christian tradition that attribute to Saint Mark, who we believe brought Christianity to Egypt in the 1st century AD, that the Coptic Orthodox Church with its unique traditions developed from the Roman Catholic and Eastern Orthodox churches. With time, the Coptic Orthodox Church developed a set of liturgical practices and calendar events different from other Christian traditions. Easter is the pinnacle of these practices with its unique customs, symbols and rituals. Coptic Orthodox Easter 2025 falls on Sunday, April 20th. The date might appear later than the Western Easter, but this difference arose from the use of Julian calendar by the Coptic Orthodox Church. It also marks the end of the long period of fasting and penance and waits to resurrect Christ. To prepare for this grand feast, Copts attend various religious and cultural events that usher them through to the Easter celebration.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate, and I'm honored to be having with me over the program for tonight Dr. Freddy Elbaiady, the member of the Egyptian Parliament and the Vice President of the Egyptian Social Democratic Party. Thank you very much once again for being with us tonight. We have spoken about the traditions and the significance of Easter and celebrating Easter and the religious occasions here in the country. But what about the young men and the young women of Egypt nowadays, specifically celebrating Easter? Do you think that they are more inclined towards the traditions that we have had over thousands of years, or they have new traditions coming up?
Well, young men and young women are a very important part of Egyptian community, Egyptian society, and of course they are very significant, have a very significant role within the church liturgy and the church practice.
Yes.
And the core and the essence of the Easter and the worship hasn't changed over the thousands of years. But of course there are new modern things that come with the new updates, with the young men and young women updating. This actually comes through the way of, for example, the singing in the church.
Yes.
The kind of music they use, the words and the new songs. Of course, this change with the time. And also the using the media, the social media for celebrations and for sharing the joy, and using the videos and AI, all the new technologies. This actually comes with the young people modernizing the way of celebrating, and also the social charity work. The young people actually do a lot of effort, significant role for the celebrations, when this is an important part that they care about those actually people who can't afford buying new clothes or new food for the Easter or for any holiday festivals. The young people actually play a big role in doing this charity work actually. So young people are very important and vital part of the church, and they bring new modern ways of celebrations, but this doesn't change the core of the Easter or the core of the worship that has been through the thousands of years.
Doctor, you mentioned social media. We are living now in the times of social media, and especially with the times of holidays and the times of celebrating Easter and celebrating the Day of Resurrection here in the country. Do you think that social media has added to the celebrations or taken away from it?
Yes, no.
Both of them.
Yeah, that's true. It added, of course, new ways of celebration. It's easy now to have an access to watch the celebrations everywhere, new songs, new sketches, or whatever you say. It became very, very easy, and sometimes it made it difficult for some people. Maybe actually feel too lazy to go to a church and move, while they can watch the sermon on their phones or in the media. So why would they move and make an effort? And what this actually the negative part of it. But of course it has a lot of positive impact, and we should focus on the positive part and how to make use of the social media and advancement and all the new technologies to make people more joyful and celebrate all their joyful occasions in a great way.
Doctor, you mentioned before the break that we celebrated Ramadan, then Eid al-Fitr, and now Easter and the Day of Resurrection. What message is being sent by Egypt to the whole world regarding all those festivals in a short period of time?
The message that should be actually sent to the world that we Egyptians, we regardless of our beliefs, regardless of our different faith background, we focus on being Egyptian citizens, and we share our happy moments. We share our joyful moments. So we invite each other for meals. We share congratulation messages and phone calls. And this doesn't actually necessarily mean that we believe the same beliefs. But we believe that we are Egyptian citizens, and we are happy for each other's happiness.
On the other hand, do you think that the upcoming generations, they have this feeling of coexistence like the older generations, or do we need to be teaching them more about tolerance and forgiveness, as you mentioned at the beginning of the episode?
This has to be actually continuing teaching, and I believe along the generations, the need for teaching is the same. And it's a teaching, and also the atmosphere and the community and the rules and the government regulations should actually focus on the citizenship and equal rights. And I mentioned that having an official holiday for Easter as Christmas is something that the government should think about.
It will be good news for everyone.
Yeah, it'd be good news for everyone. Everyone would enjoy the days of holiday. Yeah. So part of it actually is some decisions taken by the government and some teachings and some role in the media that actually should focus always about the rights, equal rights for all the citizens, regardless of different faith backgrounds.
We have spoken about the teachings of Jesus Christ. One of them was forgiveness, and the other one was the importance of fasting as well for the entire nation over thousands of years here in Egypt. What about the other teachings of Jesus Christ, like love, for example, like tolerance? How can we be taught the lessons for the present generations and for the future as well?
Well, the message of resurrection and the cross that Jesus Christ took is the great message about love.
Yes.
It's all about love. It's that there is no greater love than someone is putting down his life for the salvation of the whole world.
Yes.
And someone who is blameless and who is, Jesus challenged the whole world by his teachings, and he said if no one can refer a sin to him. He is sinless, he is blameless, and in spite of all this, he died on the cross as like a criminal. So he did this because of his supernatural love, and it's the ultimate love.
Yes. That
someone puts down his life for the salvation for those, even for his enemies. He didn't die only for Christians. He didn't die for only those who love him, but he died for the whole world. For even he showed love to his enemies. He showed forgiveness to his enemies, and this is the ultimate forgiveness: is to forgive those who hate you, forgive those who are even killing you. That this is what Jesus Christ did. And this is the teaching that we should actually keep learning from Jesus Christ, and we try to interpret it in our life, in our daily life, in our dealing together, the sacrifice, the love, the forgiveness. It's the great teachings of Jesus Christ.
Yes, at the beginning of the episode we did speak about the statements made by His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the greetings sent to Pope Tewodros II on Easter. What about the message of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and stating that Pope Tewodros has the wisdom needed to be backing the nation and refuting the rumors all at the same time? What is the role of the Pope nowadays in those two fields?
Well, the role of the Pope is very important as the leader of the largest church in the Middle East and the Christians in Egypt. It's important to mention that the number of Christians in Egypt are more than the rest of Christians all over the Middle East. So the Christian presence in Egypt is very important. The Christian church is very important, And the Pope, being a leader of the largest church, is very important, and he plays a significant role. And he has actually shown wisdom in different occasions, from at the tough times where there was actually attacks at the churches during the Muslim Brotherhood time. He actually he put a priority for the nation, and he said his famous saying that a country without churches is better than churches without a country.
Yes.
So he always showed that he is an Egyptian leader, not only a Christian leader, but he's also an Egyptian leader, and he always puts the priority of the Egyptian nation and Egyptian citizenship in front of his decisions.
Yes, Pope Theodorus II and the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, Dr. Ahmed Al-Tayyib, Sheikh Ahmed Al-Tayyib, are the two wings of the Egyptian family house. How do you see the importance of having the Egyptian family house, and what does it stand for and defend?
Yeah, the same thing as I said about Pope Theodorus is an important symbol, and the Grand Imam Al-Tayyib is also a very important, significant symbol for the largest Islamic institutions in the whole world. And both of them actually, they emphasize the importance of citizenship, and I believe that it's actually very important that people are watching them as models, as leaders, important religious leaders, and this teaching actually has to be interpreted to lower levels, to the ground level, that people actually see that Christians and Muslims are sharing together in different occasions, in different activities. They share in social work. I have an experience actually in a charity hospital that I founded in El-Qanat Al-Khairiyya in the suburb of Cairo 25 years ago. We have Christians and Muslims working together as volunteers, serving the whole community. And this project started 25 years ago by the church, but having the staff of Christians and Muslims, volunteers serving the community, it's a great model actually that has been actually watched by not only the local community but even in international platforms. We share this model as a way of coexistence together, of sharing our principles together, of sharing our love to the community. So the great relation between the Grand Imam and the Pope has to be actually interpreted in coexistence projects that can be actually done on the ground between Christians and Muslims and different Egyptian citizens regardless of their faith backgrounds.
Yes, Dr. Freddy Elbaiady, the member of the Egyptian Parliament and the Vice President of the Egyptian Social Democratic Party. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate, and Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to everybody.
Yes, thank you very much. We will be ending the episode here, but I will be leaving you, however, with the latest presidential activities of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi that took place over the past week. All in the upcoming report. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi arrives in the Qatari capital Doha at the start of his Gulf tour, where His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, Emir of the State of Qatar, was at the forefront of those welcoming His Excellency at Hamad International Airport. A joint statement was issued between the Arab Republic of Egypt and the State of Qatar. A joint statement on the occasion of the visit of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, President of the Arab Republic of Egypt, to the State of Kuwait. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received Ms. Erska Klakachar Zupancic, President of the National Assembly of the Republic of Slovenia. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received Mr. Mohammed Al-Yamahi, President of the Arab Parliament. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi held a phone call with Paul Kagame, President of the Republic of Rwanda. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi made a phone call to His Majesty King Abdullah II bin Al-Hussein, monarch of the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi made a phone call to Felix Tshisekedi, President of the Democratic Republic of Congo.